Do pesticides cause harm to human health? And if so, what are the harmful effects of pesticides to human health? The answer is coming up next, so stick around.
In a world awash with danger and stress, the one thing you mustn't ignore is your health. No ifs, no buts. Hop on the driving seat and take absolute control of your health with a little help from a friend. Please welcome Dr. Joe.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Joe of the drjoe.com. Right, the question is, do pesticides pose a threat to human health? The answer to that question is yes, they do. They do pose a threat to human health. So we're talking about the harmful effects of pesticides to human health. Okay, the harmful effects of pesticides to human health. That's it. So let's go. First thing you should know is that pesticides are actually designed to kill. That's the name of the game. Okay. The only thing is they're not designed to kill humans. They're designed to kill pests. So any harm to human health is a collateral damage, is unintended, okay? But it mustn't be ignored because it is real, all right? I have a story. I've had a personal experience with this. I used to buy a particular product and I was using it for about 6 months or thereabout. And I discovered that I was having this jabbing pain on my left arm, very jabbing pain, really serious. And I also had loss of sensation to a certain nerve distribution. You know, doctors will know what I'm talking about. On my left arm as well. And I couldn't figure out what the problem was, but I suspected that it was a particular food that I was eating. And I did all sorts of things, nothing worked. And my suspicion grew, and in the end, I decided to eliminate that food. And within 4 weeks, it took a while. Within about 4 weeks, the symptoms were completely gone, okay? They were gone. You might say, oh, maybe it was just a coincidence. Well, I thought so too, so I reintroduced the food back into my diet. And what happened? The symptoms were back within 2 weeks of restarting the food. So it was obvious that some of the pesticides in that food were causing the problem because they were causing me a neurological problem. And in the end, I stopped using that food product and that's it. I've not had any problems with it again. So that's just one proof, okay? Now, in actual fact, the WHO, World Health Organization, actually estimates that there are 3 million cases of pesticide poisoning a year in the world, okay? 3 million cases of pesticide poisoning in a year in all over the world. And indeed, WHO also thinks that there are 18,000 deaths annually as a result of pesticide poisoning or pesticide use, as it were, all over the world. Okay, so it is not a joke. It's for real, okay? Now, who is at risk? The question is, who is at risk? Well, everyone. Everyone. We all eat, don't we? We all eat. So everyone is at risk, okay? Everyone is at risk. However, children in particular are more at risk, okay? Why is this? Is because kids are smaller in size, because they consume the same things that we eat, relatively in terms of size and the volume, the pesticide will be more concentrated in children compared to an adult, all right? Because of their small size. So that's the background to what I'm going to talk about. So the next thing we're going to talk about now is what are the actual symptoms and some of the harmful effects that you actually experience if you are having a pesticide related issue, okay? I've just given you an example of my own experience. So I'm going to talk about what happens in the general population, okay? That's next. Yeah, so what are the harmful effects of pesticides to human health? Well, it's a laundry list, okay? It's a laundry list. But these are some of the symptoms that I will just mention in this video, okay? Memory loss, okay? Memory loss. Sometimes you might have problems with your memory. It might be due to the use of pesticides. Altered mood, all right? You may be having problems with depression, anxiety, or you just feel generally low for no reason. You have to think about pesticides that are in your food. Poor concentration, okay? That's another. Problems with your vision, okay? Problems with your vision. You might have problems with your vision. And also poor coordination. Poor coordination. That's another symptom that you may experience when you use food produce with lots of pesticides in them. Then the more serious conditions will include things like asthma, okay? Asthma, allergies. You know, sometimes people just develop allergy for no reason. It's probably because of the fact that they've been eating foods contaminated with pesticides, all right? Hormonal disturbance, all right? Underactive thyroid, some of these pesticides may interfere with things like thyroid function. Fertility problems, in particular in men, okay? In men, what happens is pesticides can cause a reduction in sperm count, all right? Reduction in sperm count, as well as abnormal sperm. So you have a huge concentration of abnormal sperms because of the use of because of consumption of pesticides in your food. And what happens as a result of all of this? Birth defects, okay? You can have children with birth defects, okay? Now, the more serious one, this is the one that concerns us the most, and that is, it's been implicated, cancer, all right? Cancer. It could be a problem. In particular, blood cancers, lymphomas, and leukemias, all right? So these are the more serious ones. Yes, some people will argue that there's no definite causal relationship between the use of pesticides and some of these conditions that I mentioned. Well, that may be true, but we're never going to get there because you kind of have randomized control trials that you give one group food produce loaded with pesticides and then another group food produced without pesticides. That would be unethical to do. So we're never going to get studies like that. So we have to make do with observational studies. And the link is there. The link is there, okay? And the next question is, what can you do to reduce your risk or your exposure to pesticides? Well, you might talk about buying organic produce, but the problem with organic produce is that, well, they're not always available sometimes when you want them. And also, as you know, they're very expensive. They're pretty expensive. And more importantly, if you watch my video where we talked about the dirty dozen, the Environmental Working Group actually pointed out that in some of the organic produce, there were pesticides in them. So you're not exactly escaping, pesticide use when you buy organic produce. So, but I have a little trick, and it's in one of my next videos. It talks about a little trick, a little technique that I use to reduce my exposure. You may need to watch it if you're interested. And also, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, leave a comment for me as well. Why should you subscribe? Well, if you want 2020 ideas that will lead you to better health, then you should subscribe, okay? Is what I do. I just give you ideas, okay? And you just run with them, okay? Leave a comment for me as well. Until next time, this is Dr. Joe signing out.